From the Massachusetts Broadcasters Station of the Year, this is Western Mass News at 6 p.m.
We are tracking a potent storm system for the end of the week to bring a soaking rain and also a little snow. I'll have the details in my first warning forecast.
And snow preparations are already underway tonight. I'm Lindsay Kane, and coming up, I'll have those details.
I've had to literally change all my passcodes, my IDs, everything.
Unemployment scams continue to target people in our area. One woman's exclusive story next. We begin tonight focusing on some unseasonably but expected October snow, maybe. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Western Mass News at 6. I'm Chris Pisano. This time of year, everything's always a little dicey.
Yeah, in some areas we'll see snow, some probably won't. I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. We do have team coverage for you on the upcoming wintry weather.
Lindsay Kane is live in Westfield with a look at how that city's preparing for the potential of October snow. But first, let's turn things over to our expert, first warning meteorologist Janna Brown. Janna?
Yeah, we are expecting this storm to get going tomorrow, guys. It's going to begin as a chilly rain that will last out through Thursday night. Then as we go into the overnight hours, that's when that transition begins to happen from the highest elevations first to eventually the lower valley by sunrise Friday morning. So as you wake up early Friday, you will likely see at least some snowflakes falling. Whether or not you have significant accumulation amounts, or maybe just significant for October, depends on your elevation. The highest elevations will see some accumulation, the lower elevations not so much. Snow will come to an end late in the morning, and we turn blustery and very cold to end the week. Currently, it is still a little dreary outside. We have an overcast sky. We're at 47 degrees. Wind is calm. Rain has come to an end. We did see a nice soaking throughout the morning, which is needed as the drought conditions are still pretty rough. We've got temperatures ranging in the middle to upper 40s in most spots, not quite getting to 50 degrees today. It's been a struggle. Now, cloud cover may break up a little bit. We're seeing some of that off to our west in central New York, but it's short-lived, and we may see some fog develop, but cloud cover from Hurricane Zeta is already getting close to us, so those clouds are going to stick around overnight. Temperatures dropping to near 40, and then for tomorrow we are expecting kind of a washout. There's the chance for some showers before noon, but most of the rain will get going from noon and then all throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening. We'll take a closer look at how much rain you can expect to see, and of course how much snow you can expect to see in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Janna, thank you. Preps are already underway to handle the possible snow Western Mass may see Thursday night into Friday.
Western Mass News reporter Lindsay Kane continues our team coverage live in Westfield with more on how the city is preparing. Lindsay?
Chris and Jordyn, the assistant director for the Westfield Department of Public Works, tells me that they're prepared for all weather possibilities this storm may bring. While he says it's unusual to see snow in October, it doesn't mean they're any less prepared.
Obviously early, to be talking snow, the 1st of November. Typically it's more towards the end of November. But we're ready. We, prep for it. We get the equipment work on it, all through the summer. And we've been prepping, going to over the little details over the last few days.
Kane tells Western Mass News he's not anticipating roads to be a problem. He's more concerned with snow piling on trees still covered with leaves. But he says they have enough materials, equipment, and staff to handle all situations that may come up. The Westfield DPW is encouraging people to begin cleaning out their storm drains to avoid any possible flooding. Live in Westfield, Lindsay Kane, Western Mass News.
Developing news tonight, the American Hockey League has delayed the start of their upcoming season, meaning that our own Springfield Thunderbirds won't be playing until at least February 5th of 2021. The team disappointed, but the president of the Thunderbirds, Nathan Costa, tells Western Mass News that while they eagerly await the next season, they'll be spending the month of November holding a food drive. He says the team remains in regular communication with state and local health officials to see when they can return to the ice safely.
Time now for a story you'll see only here on Western Mass News. After our exclusive reporting on fraudulent unemployment claims on Tuesday, we're now learning about another scam that's affecting a local woman.
She claims that someone stole her identity to file a fraudulent unemployment claim in another state. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live with the details. Audrey?
We've been following these fraudulent unemployment schemes throughout the pandemic, but this new one, with its out-of-state nature, is prompting more questions and concerns.
I've had to literally change all my passcodes, my IDs, everything.
After her credit cards were hacked earlier this month, Lillian Campbell Thompson went through the usual process of securing her accounts. The Holyoke woman thought everything was settled until she received a letter in the mail saying she applied for unemployment assistance in the state of Pennsylvania. The problem is that the last time she was actually in Pennsylvania,
I was 10 years old.
Campbell Thompson says she's disabled and hasn't worked in decades. She says her attempts to report the fraud to Pennsylvania authorities have been unsuccessful.
When I finally found the fraud hotline number, that's a joke, because there's no one to answer your phones.
Campbell Thompson says the claim date on the Pennsylvania letter was from around the same date that her credit card was hacked. Western Mass News spoke with Stan Prager of GoGeeks. He says hackers can learn a lot from credit card accounts.
They can find out, various other information about you, such as, your address, for instance.
But according to the Pennsylvania unemployment website, someone would need a social security number in order to file. Prager says data breaches or scams from years ago can yield social security numbers for those willing to search the dark web.
That can be a key to identity theft is social security number if it's matched up with a legitimate address and telephone number.
If something like this can happen to me, I'm wondering how many other people in the state of Massachusetts are getting stuff like this from other states.
According to Massachusetts state officials, those in Campbell Thompson's position should report the fraud, both in their home state and in the state where the deceitful claim was filed.
The last thing I need is to get something in tax season that says, oh, you owe on unemployment taxes from the state of Pennsylvania.
Now, over the summer, Western Mass News reported on a series of fraudulent unemployment claims happening both in Massachusetts and nationwide. Officials at that time believed that the data that was used to file those fraudulent claims came from large commercial data breaches in the past. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Audrey, thank you for that live report. Western Mass News is your election authority, and residents in one Western Mass town are concerned after political signs were stolen and set on fire this week. This after a large campaign display was set on fire a few weeks ago in Berkshire County.
All of this leading up to the presidential election that has many on edge. Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis has the story.
Biden-Harris 2020 signs lined Rockford Drive in Wilbraham, but if you look closely, there's evidence some of those signs have been stolen and even burned earlier this week.
Before I went to bed about 9 o'clock and noticed that the sign was missing. When I came back the next day, I checked the area again and I could see that there was a large X.
This neighbor spoke to Western Mass News but did not want to be identified. She says others on her street are fighting back against the vandalism. One of them putting up a different sign on their lawn which says, "Smile, you are now on camera, Biden-Harris."
It's disheartening, I'm sure, and I think if people have security cameras, they need to come forward and pass in the films.
This resident did get another Biden-Harris sign. She says people should be able to support whoever they want without getting their property damaged.
It doesn't matter who, which political candidate, if signs are destroyed and personal property is destroyed, it's wrong.
This investigation in Wilbraham comes a few weeks after a large Biden-Harris 2020 display on a stack of hay bales was set on fire in Dalton. A local man arrested remains behind bars. Over in Springfield, Public Information Officer Ryan Walsh says in the final days leading up to the election, they don't expect any major issues connected to high tensions among voters and other parts of the country.
We don't anticipate any issues here. It's not a real swing state or swing area.
The Springfield Police Department says they don't expect any protests the night of the election, but they are prepared in case they have to respond to calls.
If we were maybe in Pennsylvania or Michigan or Florida somewhere, there might be some additional precautions, but the officers are prepared and there's a strategy in place in case something does occur. We just don't anticipate it happening no matter who wins here.
For Western Mass News, I'm Leon Purvis.
We're now less than 6 days away from election night, and our very own Dave Mattson will be back hosting our special digital coverage. That all kicks off at 8 p.m. on November 3rd. So make sure you follow us on Facebook and download our free Western Mass News streaming app so you don't miss a minute of the action.
New at 6, American Medical Response is reporting an increase in COVID-19 testing at one of their sites. This week, the Commonwealth activated an alert to phones in several high-risk communities. Patrick Leonardo, the operations manager at Western Mass AMR tells us due to this alert, they have seen an increase in testing at their Eastfield Mall site.
We have gone from testing a couple hundred people in a day to over 800 to 900 cars coming to the drive-thru in any given day in a 7-hour period.
Leonardo says that testing is available on a drive-through basis, and he encourages everyone to pre-register to help keep those lines moving.
Now at 6, confirmed coronavirus cases have surpassed 150,000 in the Bay State tonight. The DPH reporting more than 1,000 just today, along with 36 more deaths. Statewide death toll rising to 9,700.